I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls Next Door. Talk about that spooky stuff.
Always.
Yeah, hi, welcome.
Yeah, hey.
Welcome to our, now it's basement. We've moved from the living room. We now are in the basement because that's where we keep our friends.
Yeah, it was a big move in relocating them to our new house. Mm-hmm. It was a whole thing where, people are heavy. And, they were like, oh, can we get like a few minutes of fresh air? And we're like,
yeah, but they're really
so
excited.
Funny, Jeff. No.
Here's the thing. We've upgraded so significantly. Mm-hmm. Our basement is beautiful now. We have this nice little podcast hub. It's all like got nice floor. It's not just like dirt and spiders.
There's a bathroom down here, so I'm sure they appreciate that. Yeah.
And like high-tech
general
laundry.
Human necessities.
Woo. Covered. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So this is our episode 23.
Whoa.
We're getting there. And we thought, since Kat and I just moved into a beautiful house, that we would talk about home invasion.
Yeah, just really like happy stuff to talk about in a new home. Yeah. Just like, you just moved. Oh my God, is it so wonderful? Like, what's it like? And it's like, oh, we should really just be well versed in all the ways that we could die from being unprotected in our new house.
Exactly. Kat likes to talk about like breathing things into existence. But my thing is, like, if you are expecting it, it's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
Because it's like what you're not expecting to happen. So if we're just like, wow, look at all the ways that home invasion happens.
We're like, oh, we're probably not going to get home invaded.
Yeah. Who would home invade this home?
No one.
No one, because we know about you.
Yeah, we're clearly just putting it out there to the whole internet that like, hey, we know all this stuff about the thing you were thinking of doing, and we're ready. So like, there's no reason.
Yeah, go ahead, try. I've watched Home Alone.
Yeah, go get someone easy to do that with who's like unaware. Don't do that. Just no one home invade anybody.
Yeah, I'm
not like endorsing that, but all I'm saying is.
But you're not endorsing it.
Well, now you know that we know what's up, so you're not going to try to do anything about it.
Yes. That's true. So
it's more work for you. I'm saving you time. Yeah. We're just giving you a general heads up. Like, it's probably not a good idea. It's like a waste of time because we will win.
Yes. We have studied, I would say.
Yeah.
As we always all do. The things, and I wouldn't say are any less terrified. We're just more knowledgeable, which usually comes with like a new realm of terror.
Yeah. And I just enjoy, I will say this, the amount of Wiki-How articles that exist. I'm not saying I'm going to read it verbatim like the other ones.
Yeah.
But like the fact that there are absurd as anything Wiki-How articles on how to like survive a serial killer or like prevent a murderer from like getting you. And they always put a disclaimer at the top. It's like, it's probably likely that you'll never have to do this, but like, here's a hypothetical how-to on how to survive this horrible encounter. And it's just this is amazing that this exists.
Were this encounter to happen?
Yeah.
Here's how to proceed. Yeah. And now we have the knowledge. We have the goods.
And it's like funny because this is stuff I'd like want to know anyway because of like my natural inclination to be like, hey, I need like a kit ready for when the world ends.
Woo.
This is my getting ready for the inevitability that common sense, someone might try to kill us one day, as Gabe would say.
Yeah. Everyone has the potential to murder. We all know that. Mm-hmm. We're all aware. Mm-hmm. Well, we moved, and that's great. And so this is our second episode in our new apartment or house. And it's great. I will say.
Yeah, no, it's tops.
It's wonderful. So we're going to get started with our episode here, but just wanted to shout out because we got some new likes and comments on iTunes.
Thank you.
Thanks, people, for talking about us in a nice way.
You earned one hypothetical face touch from me.
Yes. Everyone gets all the face touches. You are welcome to live in our basement. It is beautiful. So, home invasion. So, we moved, and it's scary. I would say I've never fully... So, okay, let me go back. I have lived in the woods many a times in my life.
Yeah.
I'm from the South. Mm-hmm. So, living in the city is great, because there's people everywhere, which can be good and bad. But relatively, it's like... You're not as exhausted in your options for help.
Yeah, I was thinking that literally as we were watching all the movies, just like, as much as people are like, the city's like scary. It's like, no, it's not first. But like also, there are so many ways that, like, you could just see any person and be like, hey, no, this
SOS.
bad thing's happening. Like, attention.
Make loud noises, they'll call the cops on you anyway.
Yeah, like, there's enough houses and people in close proximity that the chances that no one would notice that something was happening. Whether they choose to say something, I don't know. But, like, someone would see. And that's more comforting, I think, than being, like, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
And, like, running, like, a mile, and still there's no one to, like, help you.
And you get lost in the woods.
And even if you get to that person, as we see, they could already be dead or a bad guy. Maybe he just went all the miles away and murdered all the surrounding houses. By the time you get there, it's too late.
Yeah, you don't even know. My uncle, one of the famed Rosinskis who have tortured me growing up, lived on a dead-end road. And when he first moved into his house, he had all me and my cousins over. We're all relatively young. I was like in middle school. And he had us watch Wrong Turn and Deliverance. Again, in the woods on a dead-end road. Yeah. In the middle of nowhere in Florida. Florida. That's scary. And had us watch all these back-to-back horror movies, and then proceeded to torment us by having my older cousin go out and turn the lights out and just like cut off the lights, the power. No. So we're like in the middle of like watching cartoons or some shit and it turns off. No. Scary. And then he had us crawling around on the ground because he said there were people outside and that they were going to break into his car and that we couldn't leave and we were all hysterical. Yeah, he was training you. He was like that girl in the movie where her dad trained her to be a fucking badass. Regular badass in the world and just like ready for the inevitable thing of people trying to kill him. Thank him. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's the reason why I'm this way. We watched a few films that we're going to talk about later in the episode. So we watched The Strangers. We watched Them, which is kind of a version of The Strangers. Kind of similar story, but it is in French. It's French. En français. And then we also watched Your Next, which I've referenced before just in passing because I thought it was really great. And specifically The Strangers is so awesome for me and that it was like, it still really holds up as being really terrifying. Oh yeah. It doesn't go away, but this was one of those movies that like the entire family was watching together. Yeah. And I remember that I had to walk my best friend home late after the movie, and he is a giant black man. I am a tiny little Hispanic woman, and I had to walk him home in the middle of the night, and then walk myself back alone by myself. Like my mom just like stood outside the door, which is like, all right. Well, this is why people think, Gabe. Yeah. That you could murder somebody because you're the trustworthy one to walk a giant person home as your tiny self. Like they know, if it happened, look out, murderer, because she's not going anywhere. Yeah. Well, and it was funny because when we were watching in my living room, it was just packed. There was like 10 people in there at least, and we had like where the TV was right next to it was like glass screen, like glass doors to the backyard. Yeah. So like there's so many scenes where it's like. Very easily, like if you looked up, someone in a mask could be there. It felt very real. And again, we're like in the suburbs for that, so it's like you're not directly next to your like neighbor's house, but you're also not in the middle of the woods. Yeah, I think like that's something I really like about the city, that everything's so close together because it's just like there's so many options for safety. But I definitely agree. Like even in my spurts in the suburbs, living my grandpa's house specifically. It was a lot of trees and like it was a lot of like old people lived around you. It wasn't like anybody who would be strolling out ready to fight somebody. It'd be like everyone's old aunt or like grandmother who like retired and is now in this house by herself or with like one other person who is also old and not helpful in any way. You know. Like, unless they have, like, weapons, they're probably just going to be like, we don't really want to be bothered with your AOL.com. Go away. Yeah. I've already chosen my religion. I'm old. I'm just going Mormonism.
So, less options for help and definitely spookier if you live in further proximity from other humans.
Yeah. That's why live in the city, everyone. Don't, because it's already packed.
It's already pretty
I think we've
people-y.
hit the threshold. So no more people.
Just need to get more murder. No, I'm kidding. That's awful. Don't say that. That's the worst. That's the worst advice.
Murder.
Worst advice. I take it back.
Don't go in anyone's house if you're not invited.
Yeah. We have a lot of
murder
rules
them.
that will be thrown your way based on the movies that we watched. So
Yes. Stay tuned.
Facts. Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Your facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So we watched several films that claimed to be based on true stories, or at least inspired by true stories. The one that seems to pop up, because surprisingly, there's not a lot of popular, like, home invasion stories that are really well known. Well, that's not true. There's not, like, an abundance of them, but there are some.
Yeah.
So specifically, just kind of, like, quickly referencing, and it really comes through in The Strangers, and I definitely felt it when I was watching it. I was like, I almost made a joke about it, and then like reading that it was actually, in fact, minorly inspired by it, I was like, oh, I'm correct. And that would be the Tate murders, which is the Manson family. I'm sure everyone knows who the Manson family is. It's Charles Manson and his groupies, who he sent to murder people to ignite a race war.
you know, fun stuff that you just do in your spare time.
Yeah, they went to just like the elite homes, and they murdered. So they murdered Sharon Tate, and it was grisly. There's actually Tarantino. I hate to give him any attention, but he has a movie coming out about it. And Manson's mentioned in the Netflix show. But so you all should know about that one. But what's more usually referenced is what is called the Keddie Murders. So in 1981, there was a quadruple homicide that occurred in Keddie, a rural resort town in Sierra Nevada, in Northern California. So on April 12, 1981, 14-year-old Sheila Sharp was returning from a sleepover when she discovered 3 bodies in her family's cabin at the Keddie Resort. Her mother, her brother, and her brother's friend, Dana. So they were all bound and severely murdered. The thing that's weird about this case was there were her other brother had a friend over. Her 2 younger brothers, Greg and Rick, had a friend over who also lived in the town, who were alive and in their room and had been untouched by the trauma.
Like, just were asleep?
Yep.
Holy
and,
crap.
They were super, traumatized. I think it's very likely that they had experienced something and seen something, but because they were so young, it just converted into a dream. So they were they remembered essentially the family being murdered on a boat that looked eerily similar to what the living room looks like. That's what the dreams are.
Yeah.
And so the kid that was a friend was Justin Smart. So the thing is, the theory is that Marty Smart, Justin Smart's dad, is the one who committed the murders, because the mother was kind of butting into his life and his relationship, which was falling out with his wife.
Okay.
And so the reason they think that is because recently a letter surfaced that was from Marty Smart, which is the dad, to his now former wife. And it said, "I've paid the price of your love, and now that I've bought it with 4 people's lives, you tell me we are through. Great, what else do you want?"
Holy crap.
Which is pretty on the nose when you think about it.
I murdered these people so that we could be together. Now we're not together, so what the...
Yeah, it's a super strange, and then it also makes sense that Justin was unharmed. It's also weird though because
Is Justin her son?
Yeah, was their son. Yeah. The other thing that's weird is the 4th body was the sister, was the younger daughter, and her body was found later, like out in the wilderness.
Ooh.
And a 911 call, like recently after the murder, told police like where her body was and that it was her body. And then later it was found, and it was like, why wasn't this 911 like call investigated? So there's like a lot that's super kind of sketchy about it. It's still unsolved, and every now and again like new things pop up. Like recently they've renewed the investigation because they found like someone who had just like a metal detector found a hammer, and it matched the description of the hammer that Marty told investigators he'd lost. And it's now being tested for DNA and blood residue.
Yo. Mm-hmm. I feel like, dang. Jeez. Wow. Geez, wow. Oh, geez, wow.
Geez, wow, yeah. It's like, and because like I'm thinking there's like this renowned murder of all these girls that were like at camp. They were like in a tent, and there was like 4 of them, and they were murdered really savagely. To degrees I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about on this podcast.
Yeah.
And that guy wasn't, there's a whole thing. But, like, that's different than being attacked in your home.
Yeah.
And so I think what's weird, so, like, the reason why I think the Manson family makes more sense than that, because that just feels like a murder. You know? Like, and there was, like, an intent. You know? Like, there was, if it was Marty Smart, then he was directly like trying to hurt that woman and her children, and he snapped. They also think it was like him and his friend, because they're like, there's no way one person did this.
Yeah.
But that just kind of feels like a serial killer. Like for me, the Strangers really felt like BTK, which is the bind, torture, kill. Serial killer who would just come into people's homes, and he would bind them, torture them, kill them.
As you know, the name
that
states.
He named himself. He's the douchiest of all the serial killers. But he, like, that's what it made me think of, would be like him coming in. But there's like, it's like directly attacking you. There's no torment the way that these films are showing it. There's no like greed coming from just like getting sheer terror. And I really felt like, with the fact that there's multiple assailants, and that they were like coming from the outside, and that they didn't have any direct relation to this family because they didn't know them. So it wasn't like a crime of passion. It wasn't like a direct relation. There's no real reason, which is like one of my favorite lines in The Strangers is when she's like, why are you doing this to us? And her answer is, because you were home. Like that is the biggest like F you that could ever exist in a film, because it's just like you always want to know like why, like
who is it,
what have I done in my life to deserve this, and the answer being nothing at all, you just existed, is like the most traumatic thing. And that's how I feel about
I'm there with you, babe. That is horrifying. And definitely the scariest part of the entire movie is that there is no reason, it's just you're there. Oops, you existed, you answered the door. Jesus.
And like that's why I think the Manson family is a really good fit, because there really was no good reason. I mean, there was like this bigger reason, you know, but we only know that because they're really bad at doing murder and inciting race wars. They're real bad at it. All of them are in jail, and you know, I think that one's more closely related to what we're seeing in these, in that it's like multiple assailants, they're attacking this home, and it's the real torture and torment is coming from everything before the kill. Like the kill is so like, it's just okay, of course that's gonna happen at the end.
Like this is obviously the end result, but it's the psychological like lefery. I can't say the bad words because we're gonna have to edit them. Messed upness, fuckery.
Yes,
the psychological fuckery where they're going around like, oh, we're just gonna ruin your entire mental state before killing you. So let's just like really make you have a psychotic break right before. So it's just significantly, it's more satisfying, I feel like, to someone who's murdering someone, if that's like the response. Like no one just wants to kill a thing. I feel like I'm getting way too into this. I'm not going to kill anyone. That's never a thing that will happen. This is not why I know this information. But, like, I feel like the biggest piece of it is that, like, the fear that they are aware that they can give to somebody else, not so much the, like, you die now. Once they're dead, they have nothing left to do.
No, it's no more a plaything. It's like a cat with like a bug.
Yeah, or a mouse.
Yeah, like it's not about like actually killing it. It's just playing around with it, which is sadistic.
Yeah.
I said seductive.
It's not seductive.
It's very sexy and alluring. I love murder.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that was my take on what the real traumatic experiences of real life people who could have possibly in some ways have now inspired these films.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess like my biggest perspective on it is like I feel like the reason that there's not so many movies on that specific topic is that like that's a really real thing that could happen. That's scary because of the fact that it's a really real thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And to make a bunch of movies about it is mean. Because you're like the supernatural stuff, like, yeah, that's scary because you don't know. You like might have certain beliefs. You're feeling kind of like skeptical about it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to make a bunch of those movies because like it's very likely that you're never going to actually experience those things. Where like home invasion is something that could easily happen all the time, at any time. Everyone is a murderer. Like anyone could murder somebody. It's a thing. Yeah. So like, and the lack of, I feel like as a society, there being a lack of motive aside from convenience is like something that's very hard for us to grasp or like understand because like there always has to be a reason for everything. Like that's how we justify our reality is there's a reason for the thing that's happening. And for there not to be any kind of reason at all, that it's literally just your home. No.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I was doing all the stuff that the internet and the world and the people told me to do to stay safe.
Okay.
And now you're telling me all of that doesn't matter because this guy was bored and decided it was that I walked by at the right time and it's my turn to die. Like, no. Like, that's
told them. Even that's an answer, you know?
Yeah. But, like, the fact that there's just, like, really not any good reason. Like, when the police come, it's like, is there anybody who would want to hurt you? Is there anyone? There's none. That's, like, the murder that people can get away with because there's no connection. There's no, like... There's no reason for that to happen, and that's what's the scariest part of it is because you always think there's a reason. You know, logic. The universe operates around logic. There has to be some kind, and for that to just be completely disregarded, and it's like, no, oh no, honey, you didn't know. Anybody can kill you. They don't gotta have a reason why. They could just be bored. It could be a Monday.
So I've been trying to tell you. It could be a Monday. We talked about this. Children murder.
Yeah. So it's just like. I think that's what makes it the most scary. Yeah. I think that's where it really messes with people's heads. And, like, for me, personally, nah. It's a whole nah. Nah is a blanket statement to that situation. Yeah. Because it's just, like, even in reading all the stuff that I read, I'm on, like, how to prevent it. It's just, like, don't help people. Yep. Don't talk to strangers. If you see someone who looks like they're hurt and they need your assistance, don't help them.
Like Ted Bundy.
Because there's lots of evidence to indicate that, like, that could make you die now. Like, just that's a thing.
Ted Bundy used to walk around in a cast and look like he needed help because then women were like, oh, what a handsome stranger who's mildly injured. There's no way he can hurt me. And then they were dead.
Yeah.
Don't help.
And it's just playing upon people's sympathies. And it's just, I hate giving into that because then you're just walking around like, oh, God, everyone. Yep. And that's...
Welcome
what
to
if
my
someone's
life.
actually in danger? Like, that also prevents you from being saved in a situation where you're asking a stranger for help. Because you need help. That's real. Someone else who was taking advantage of that situation is trying to kill you now. And you're trying to go get another person. Be like, hey, you, stranger person. This guy's trying to kill me. Please help. And they're like, no, you could try to kill me. I'm not going to help you. Bye. Yeah. So, like, it's just an endless cycle. Messes with your mind.
So the only way to beat it is to be the murderer.
Apparently. Or if you're like one of our films, you're next. Fight back.
Yeah, fight
like nothing
back.
else.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Oh my gosh. Everyone take a training. We're going to go through it a little bit and we're going to post some Wiki-How articles as we always love because they're hilarious to our social media pages. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, la-da-da. Yeah. Done talking about that, but like, do that because they're there and they're going to be funny. But like, it sucks to me that it's just, don't help people, but you should also prepare. Yeah. Have kits. Put nails in pieces of wood and put them underneath of windows. anyone breaks into your house.
Not for everyday use. Like if
don't do that every night, you'll probably severely injure yourself or one of your pets. But
or like someone you love and care about.
Yeah.
But if like it's obvious that you're under siege in some way, yeah, like just fight back.
Yeah, but that's something that's also really interesting about the films that we watched specifically is there were multiple instances where in each different one, like across the board, where in your fighting back, you lose sight of who the enemy is.
Yeah.
And you end up hurting someone that you didn't plan to hurt.
Yeah.
Because you're just so scared that, you know, spoilers.
You get trigger happy.
You get trigger happy. You shoot your best friend.
Yeah.
Spoilers again. In this case, they deserved it, but like the wrong person comes through that door with the axe hanging from it.
Yeah, police
kills
officers.
them. The police officer. Oh, the police officer didn't deserve it in this instance, but
yeah,
it was just like I was waiting for the other guy to walk through that door, who was like not the target at the time.
But
I was just waiting.
Should have been the target.
Yeah, but you know he does. Spoilers, dies brutally with screwdrivers or whatever in his brain.
Accurate.
Yeah, but it's just like. In your defense, it's another really scary thing that you could end up hurting someone you really care about and love just because you're so scared and you lose sight of like what is actually happening. And I think that's part of the goal of the psychological scary thing that the murderer's trying to do. But it's still really awful.
Because, like, when you're under siege, especially in this place that is your home, like, this is supposed to be your sanctuary. This is where you're safe, where you come home every day. And this
home
is where
field
you,
advantage.
Yeah, like where you let loose. You take everything. You take your bra off. This is where you do that. Yeah. Usually, you could do it other places, but this is usually the place.
This is like the place.
Yeah, our house.
This is the place where all the bras come off.
Our house. No one wears bras here. Our house. In the middle of the street because we need to be surrounded by people for safety. But that's just it. It's like you're being infiltrated on so many different levels. It's like, one, you're being terrorized. But two, it's also like, you know, oh, why? And then three, it's like, this is my place of comfort. This is my home. This is my safety. And we're under siege. So then, like, one of the most natural reactions is to lash out and just, like, start just fucking wailing on anything that's close by.
Yeah. And chances are, if you're not alone in your house, like, there's other people who live there too, you could accidentally seriously hurt one of your family members, which is awful. So, I mean, when I was reading the Wiki-How article, so basically a lot of what they said was not to try to fight back unless you are sure they're trying to murder you. Like, most of the time to break in, they're just trying to steal your crap and they're not trying to talk to you. They're just trying to take your stuff and go.
Yeah.
They're more likely to react violently if they find you.
Yeah.
And you react violently towards them. So the best method to do...
Whose fault is that?
Well, yeah, it's still their fault, but you can also, if you murder them, go to jail for a really long time.
Not in Florida.
No, it's still a lot of people, even in states where it says it's okay to kill them. Lots of people have gone to life in prison because of the fact that they were defending their own home and ended up killing the person. But specifically that, you know, a big thing is avoid getting caught, obviously.
Yeah.
Try to barricade yourself in a room if you can.
Yeah.
If you have a doorway that pushes out, that's the kind of doorway that you want to barricade. That's what they said, which doesn't make sense to me, but apparently is a thing. If it opens out, if it opens in, they can kick it in, or if it opens out, somehow it's more easy to
doesn't make any sense.
Blockade. That doesn't make sense to me either, but that's what it said. Get into like a safe room where you have like supplies, and then reacting violently is not your first choice.
Yeah. I disagree.
And that basically to make the living spaces that you were occupied in look like no one had been there in a minute. So like lights are out.
Yeah.
TV's off.
Yes.
Bed is made kind of stuff. So it looks like maybe you weren't even in there for them to even be looking for you.
You're psyching them out.
Yeah.
And then you're under the bed.
Yeah. And it said to hide under or in things. So like you wouldn't be normally like checking for stuff. And then if they did catch you and they didn't seem like they were going to murder you, to not make eye contact with them because that's taken as a sign of aggression.
Because they're animals.
Yeah. So don't look them in the eyes because they're going to be like, oh, now she can identify me and I have to kill them.
Yeah.
So that's what the Wiki-How article says. I'm not saying that's what
pretty smart.
we say. Yeah, it's pretty smart. And it says if you can escape, do that. Like if there was a window where you can safely jump from, if there's anywhere, if getting out of the house is way better than barricading yourself in it, if you can. Yeah. If you can safely escape, that's the route you want to do. You want to get away from there. And if they want to steal your stuff, let them steal it. Come back later. The police will deal with it or whatever. But the best thing is to like get out of there, because if they find you, that is when you're going to have a situation. Because in most cases, when someone's breaking and entering, they're not going in there specifically to kill you. It's more of an opportunistic kill. If it happened, they happenstance happen upon you in your house where you would be expected to be because it's your house. They're like, oh, you could die now. And that's unfortunate. But like, that's why you were there.
Yes.
Isn't it great? Isn't like the world a wonderful place full of safe and wonderful things like flowers and murders?
Yeah. One of the rules in the Gabie-How articles that are in my brain is don't split up.
It actually says to split up,
no.
actually. It says to split up because then likely it increases the chances of the individual to survive. Where if they both find you in the same spot, you're both dead.
So?
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that the article said that you should split up and hide in different locations. So if they find one of you, at least the other person's still alive.
Yeah, but the Gabie-How article said that when you're together, because it's least likely that like if you are being aggressive and you are fighting back, like you're not going to lash out at the person that you love because they're next to you.
Yo, that's fair. That's fair. You're right, my love. We stick together. And honestly, I think in most situations, most of the anxiety comes from not knowing where that other person is.
Yeah.
You're scared that they're hurt. You're scared that they've been attacked. You're scared that when someone comes back, it's not going to be them. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're not with you creates that, like, you're hoping it is them. So that creates a point of hesitation if you were going to defend yourself.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you in that it would be better to stick together if you're not with like children. Yeah.
Wait, don't stick together?
No, one of you stays with the kids.
Both of you. Everyone's
or maybe
together.
you each take a kid.
Everyone's together. No one's apart.
Well, because if they get you, then all your kids are dead too. That's all I'm saying.
We watched 3 films, as I mentioned earlier. We watched The Strangers, which is a 2008 American slasher film written and directed by Brian Bertino. Kristen, which is Liv Tyler, and James, which is Scott Speedman, are expecting a relaxing weekend at a family vacation home, but their stay turns out to be anything but peaceful as 3 mass torturers leave Kristen and James struggling for survival. And Bertino says he was inspired by the Manson family and the Keddie Murders, but also that he remembers when he was growing up that he was home alone with like his sister, and while like his parents were out, and there was a knock at the door. And his younger sister answered it, and at the door were some people asking for someone that didn't live there. And it turned out that later that those people were knocking on doors, and if people didn't answer, then they were robbing them. Oh. So he kind of took that a little bit, and instead, instead in The Strangers, it's, is Tamara home? Yeah, and if she is, or she's not home, but you're home, now you're a target.
Yeah. Huh. That's a fun story. That's a fun fact. Mm-hmm. That's something you actually experienced.
Just for you.
Aww.
We also watched You're Next, which is from 2011. It is also an American slasher. We have those.
Felt a little less home invasion-y just because of like how it
it wasn't like their home specifically. Well, with this, it's the plot concerns a family under attack by a group of masked assailants during their wedding anniversary getaway. So it's essentially this girl is meeting the family for the first time. Everyone is there with their significant other. There's like a bunch of siblings, and then murder. Really crazy. Like the first murder where one of the boyfriends of one of the siblings is up to do something, and an arrow just comes straight through the window
in his brain,
in his head. And it's so jarring because the whole like first 30 to 40 minutes I felt like was just like, oh, this is just a girl meeting the family, and this family's all put together, and she's like an outcast because she came from like a harder family that was dysfunctional.
And the mom's a little crazy right now. We don't really know why. She thinks people are in the house, but people are like, nah, Mom, you're fine.
Yeah. And it's just like classic dad that wants like the kids to build stuff with him and
get along.
You got the young brother who's got like the hot girlfriend, and they're artsy, and like,
he's the one who doesn't fit the societal norms of what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
His family's rich, but he wants to do art.
Yep.
Dad doesn't understand me.
Yeah, classic. And then the older brother who like not looks down on, but is like criticizing of the siblings, and that like he works and lives a certain way, and so I thought he got better later.
But when he realized it was like he should stop being an asshole, so he did for a minute.
Yeah, but it was like way too late. Well, one, I really just enjoy this film because she comes from a family of preppers. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, same. But I feel confident that I would be able to hold my own. Your Next is essentially an adult Home Alone with a female protagonist who's awesome and fights back the entire time and just doesn't even hesitate. She's like, you know what? We're being assaulted. There is violence upon us. People are dying, and we need to take action. And
instead of just like panicking and crying,
yeah. So she's great.
And I loved. I freaking loved when the boyfriend was like, I've never seen you like this. Oh God, what have we done? Yeah. I didn't know that she would like save the day.
Yeah.
Cause like, whoa, I thought she would just be panicky like everyone else.
Yeah.
But also,
and then she was supposed to be this.
God. Yeah. Messed up that guy. I hate that guy. That guy's the worst. Should have gotten axed to the face.
Yeah. We're going to circle back to each film, but we also watched Them, which is a French film formerly titled as Ils. It is a 2006 French-Romanian horror film, which is supposedly based on real events.
Ils is them in French.
Yes, so that's why. It's supposedly based on real events. The true story of this is based that an Austrian couple were murdered by 3 teenagers while vacationing in the Czech Republic, but no concrete evidence has emerged to prove this tale. And so it's very similar to The Strangers in that it's a couple at home and they're being tormented by people outside.
Yeah.
The whole trick is that the tormentors are children.
Yeah.
Which you find out later. And then they had like a creepy end where it's like 30 days after this or whatever, they were found dead and blah, blah. When they found the people who did it, the kids, they were 10 to 15, and the youngest of them had claimed that they just want to play with us.
Yeah.
Which, all of this is fake, but that's also scary.
Yeah.
It's like just deranged pride of children killing you for fun.
Yeah, where like kids don't really understand the morality behind like murdering someone, which is why everyone always claims like video games are ruining our children because like they don't understand that murder's real. But
desensitized. Yeah,
desensitized.
I would say out of them, I remember Them being a lot better. Them is good.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
But I would say revisiting The Strangers, I was like, wow. This is really like just as terrifying as the first time I ever watched it. And it's because it just like relies so heavily on just like human nature and then like the suspense and then just that raw feeling when you're intruded upon, like when someone has been in your personal space and you don't like, you're kind of second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, the fire alarm that I pulled down from the ceiling and had left on the floor is now in a chair. But it's like, it's very likely, there are so many times where I'm like, I just forgot that I did a thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was just thinking that. I was literally like, I feel like I wouldn't even get freaked out because I'd just be like, oh yeah, I probably moved that. Yeah. I don't remember if I ate today. Like,
Yeah, there's so many times where I look at
they wouldn't even go to mess with me. I'd just be like, oh, I'm going about my day regular. Oh, that thing moved. That makes sense. Okay, well,
Yeah, I just like look at stuff and I'm just like, did I put that there? And there's like I guess if you were under duress and there was other signs that there was something there.
Doors opening and stuff.
Yeah. Or just like
slamming on windows.
The best scene, and one that I will never forget, is The Strangers, where she's just like in the kitchen and she's just like doing stuff, and behind her he's in the darkness, but he's clearly inside the house and he's in his mask and he's just standing there, and he stands for a long time and she never looks. And it's so often that, like, every turn of the camera, every move of it, every shaky handheld, like, angle, you're always expecting someone to be in the background. And in that case, they were. And she didn't notice. And it was terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest strength of all of these movies is, or at least them and Strangers, I don't remember as much from Your Next is more action-packed.
Yeah.
Where I feel like The Strangers and them, they really relied upon sound. But then also like the camera angles. So there were a lot of like wide pan shots and like zoom ins that were like you weren't able, like you saw what was behind them. They always put space behind the person. Where like no matter where they were standing, there was like space behind them where you could see. And you were like, when is a face going to be there? I'm waiting for that face. And then you're like, but there's not going to be a face. It's going to be okay. You're talking yourself down. And then there's a face. And you're just like, why don't you see the face? Look at the face. But they don't hear you because they're on a TV and you're not there. Thank God. Because then you'd be dead.
And also, what does it matter if they see the face? That's just the whole thing, is like, if they
it doesn't
see
make
their
it better
face,
if they see it. It's like, oh, now I'm going to die. I kind of wish I kept going about the time where I didn't know the face was there.
Yes, exactly.
You can't win.
What specifically with both The Strangers and them, because they work off like paranoia, was the art style of like having a lot of vignetting. And so like there's like the darkness around, so we're only seeing the one focal lens. And then like a lot of darkness and shadows. So like even in times when you're pretty certain no one's there, you don't really know if no one's there.
Yeah.
And they play with that really well. And the fact that like no one has lights, no one turns lights on anymore.
Yeah, like what is it with that? Why? Turn lights on. You have them. You pay for electricity. That's what they're there for. You turn them on when you enter a room. You don't just walk into the darkness when you think of someone there who could kill you is there.
Yes.
You turn a light on, because guess what? When that light comes on, you'll just see if someone's there, and you won't be right next to them. You know, there's an advantage. Because you're still far away, and now there's light spaces. And look, you turn the light on, and it busts out. You run back up the steps, and you're still at a distance advantage. Where if you walk through the darkness towards the murderer because you don't have the sense to turn a light on.
Yeah. Also, don't walk backwards.
Yeah.
Ever.
Be against a wall. You're at an advantage. You can kick off of it and stuff.
Oh my God.
No one's gonna
many
back
times
grab you.
Where my body tensed whenever they would leave the comfort of being against a wall. Like whenever they were like, I'm going to go to the middle of the room where anyone can grab me from any angle. And it was just like, you're okay if you just stand in a corner with a knife or some other weapon. Like you were in your kitchen. You were full. There are so many weapons here.
You're more likely okay if you're like against a focal, like a point where one you could push off of. Two, you can see from
everywhere.
Both sides of you where a thing might be.
No one's sneaking up.
Also, why do men in these movies
my God.
always gotta go look without you?
Yeah. Also, they don't really believe you.
They're like, nothing's there, sweetie. I'm like, I'm aware of everything and your life is protected because of the fact that I'm doing that. So you deserve to die now. Bye, Jason. I don't know what his name was, but whatever the heck. He's gone now because he tried to mansplain you and it's just like, nothing's wrong in here. You're just scared because you're hysterical on a woman. It's like, no, there's actual murderers in here. James or whatever, Jamie, whatever the hell. You deserve to go die now because I was right. And I was trying to protect your life and keep you safe by telling you there's murderers here. And you didn't believe me. So.
Yeah. Like, don't tell me to stay here, okay? Yeah. Don't tell me to stay put. Because one, who's going to get your six? Okay? Me. Back to back. We're walking out to the fucking barn together. That's how that's going to work.
Yeah.
You do not leave me here. There's no way in any circumstance that I would allow someone to leave me in a place where I previously was assaulted because you were not there.
Yeah, and like what I'm saying is it's like also it's like trust that like I can help protect us.
Yeah.
Like I just think it's really rude in every single movie where it's just like You little thing, stay here with no weapons. Just wait for me, Mr. James. I'm doing a little dance because my name is James. I'm going to go walk out into the darkness with no weapons or the only weapon and just
That you don't even know how to use.
I don't even trust you at all. I'm just going to go get murdered.
Yeah.
My name's Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. And like that was the most horrific thing was he went out to get cigarettes, whatever. And she
Dad never came back because he went to get cigarettes.
Yeah. And she has like a full on attack. Like people are very clearly in the
Tormenting
house.
her, yes.
Her phone is destroyed. The fire alarm moved. Like she knew someone was in the house. There was no doubt that someone had been in the house. And then he comes in and is like, no one's in the house. I've looked everywhere. Like, okay, yeah, it's called doors. People can leave.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And then even when like clearly something's happening with the car's been attacked and all this other stuff, he's still just like, it's fine. It's like, sir,
It's clearly not fine.
It's not fine. Sir?
I was just attacked. You just don't believe that I was attacked? That's just not a thing that happened? Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. I was there.
In what world do you discredit someone who, like, what has happened previously in your life or in your relationship with this person that if they came up, like, if I came to someone and was like, someone was attacking me, I am almost fairly certain that anyone in my life would be like, okay, I believe you, because why in the fuck would you just say that?
Yeah. Like, yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. Like, why is that always a thing? Where I feel like it has to actually most of the time be a thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be always played upon in, like, movies and media and all of that stuff. Where it's just like, but what gets it? It's just like, one, I'm going with you, as you said. Mm-hmm. We are a team. Mm-hmm. Don't you leave me in this room where I'm not sure you're going to come back to. And if someone's coming back, it might not be you. And now they know where I am because that's where you came from. Stupid.
Yep.
We're going to go together. You're not taking the only weapon.
Team.
We're going to both somehow have weapons, or I'm coming with you because you have a weapon to protect us. And also, I have eyes. Where you're freaking out over this one thing, maybe I see that there's something next to you, or beside you, or behind you.
Yes.
2 against 1. We're more likely to win.
Now we don't have to be trapped against a wall because we are each other's wall.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lean on me.
When you're attacked by murderers. It's great. We're gonna have like an album of just
of us
remixed songs about murder.
Yeah. Well, so those are for the strangers in them, and it's really just. It's really great. And we didn't watch Hush. We're going to do that.
Well, we did watch
time.
Hush.
We
didn't watch it for this.
But that one takes this whole situation to another degree in that the protagonist is deaf.
Yeah.
So, like, the
but
assaults
also, like,
are like
badass.
Yeah. So she was kind of like a mix of like you're next and that. What was so aggravating was that these protagonists were very much just victims. Mm-hmm. And in the one case in The Strangers, when they firmly got a hand in things, sadly, it ended wrong. Like, and it was traumatizing. But when they were, like, backed in there and then they had, like, fucking things up and they had the guns, like, if Mike hadn't showed up, if Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia didn't show on up, then they would have survived.
Yeah, they definitely would have. I think it was the trauma of killing their best friend that really just like mental break. Like they were unable to do anything at that point. Like they just like kind of messed up their psyche. They were like, I don't want to attack anyone. What if they're all Mike? What if Mike has multiplied? They're all coming to save us, and now all the Mikes are dead. And I did that. That was me. I killed my best friend. All the Mikes, they're gone. Yeah. Like, so I think that's what like really like made it so that they just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah.
At the end, when they're like tied up and she like puts her hand on his leg and she has a ring on.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole moment. Mm-hmm. I just want to be like, the only reason that ring is still on is because she couldn't take it off. Yeah. Like, were you not attacked? Like, the same situation would be happening. She still doesn't want to marry you, Jamie. And if anything, I would want to marry you less because you left me and you did not believe in me, Jamie. And why? I'm Liv Tyler. I am a beautiful elven princess, and you have abandoned me in my home. It's not even my home. It's your home.
You abandoned me in the house that's not even mine.
Yeah. What?
And then doubted me at every second.
Sir. So that was that. In them, the husband was also the worst. He got injured like real quick.
Yeah, like right away too. From like what?
and also told her to stay back a lot. And then she took
Where it's
initiative.
like, she's the only one doing anything. You're just like running around and getting hurt.
Yep.
Turning TVs on and off without turning lights on in your own house. Like,
Yeah, idiot.
Stupid.
And then in your next, it was I don't want to tell anyone the spoiler, but just go watch it.
Yeah. It was
Understand,
worth it.
it's very gory. So if you're, if you don't like blood, don't do it. It is 100% a slasher film.
Yeah.
It's not just suspense.
People die by
murder at the
blenders.
end.
Like,
yeah.
blender is a
Blender
weapon of
brain.
choice. Blender brain. They put a blender on this guy's head and made a smoothie out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if that's something that sounds like a little too much for you, maybe don't watch it.
Yeah.
But it was also great.
It was
wonderful. Also, it was so cool to see, like, a really beautiful girl, or woman, rather, beautiful woman, be a badass and, like, really just, like, take on murderers. Like, not just one, just, like, a handful of murderers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Killing them all. Plus some.
Yeah.
Like, just going around being like, I'm not dying sitting down. This isn't, I'm not going to stay upstairs in a room and hide.
Yeah.
I'm going to take control of the situation. And if I'm going to go, I'm going to go. Like, I'm not just going to go. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And if I die, I die.
In Fight or Flight, it was 100% fight. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about it was, like, when one of the villains is murdered and, like, the other villain, like, reacts and is, like, upset. And it's like, yeah, wow, how unfortunate and terrible it is when someone you love is murdered in front of you.
The thing you're literally doing to other people.
Why? Like, why are you so... Like, you don't get a right to be upset.
Yeah.
You do not.
You're doing the same thing.
Incorrect.
Yeah, it's, like, ridiculous.
And the same thing, like, with them, when, like, one of them is killed. Like, children were murdered.
Yeah.
In that film. And then at the end, they just walk off. Like, they didn't just lose, like, half their numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in your next is just lots of murder. Lots of death.
Yeah. But, like, I really liked it.
But real good.
Yeah,
it's, like, real good murder.
And, like, she was so smart. It was just great. Like, she was great.
She was, a grown Macaulay Culkin woman who was also Australian.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Just, like, really just, like, whew. She wasn't even, like, lightly murdering. She was, like, brutally murdering.
I just love when she's like, you just want to nail, like, hit the nail so it's through. And then she, like, placed a little tricky one where there's, like, one under the window where you can see. And then she put one really close to the window. So then the guy would step close by the windows because he saw the other one. And then right into it.
Yeah.
Everything's cringeworthy. It's wonderful.
But it's also just so beautiful.
Watch every single one of these films.
That's the only time ever when you know murder's happening you can win, where you're not, like, the only murderer, or you have to be the murderer. In murder you can only win if you're the murderer.
Yeah you have to murder the murderers.
And you gotta do it.
You're not gonna get murdered if you murder. It's just like when Batman is like, if you murder a murderer, the number of murderers is still the same. And it's like, not if you kill 2 murderers, Batman, because you still only count as the one murderer.
Yeah.
So now we're down 1. So you got to just keep murdering, and guess what? The number goes down.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how real justice works, Batman.
Just murder everybody. Don't do that. But, like, also. Quick steps upstairs. Quick steps.
Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
I just got 5 minutes. So it is your next, if you like it.
Yeah.
Or is Tamra home if you don't.
Okay.
So just about the whole thing about home invasion, like this topic, not so much how it's used in films, but just in general. How do you feel about home invasion?
What?
How do you feel about home invasion?
Yeah, I just love it when people come into my house and try to turn me into a murderer / murder me.
This is how the segment works, Kat.
Well, usually it's about the movies.
No, it's both. We do both.
Well, both.
Remember, because we're like, oh, I love aliens, but I also love alien movies, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of home invasion. I'm going to say, is Tamra home? Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, and
It's
she's
like
not.
It's a nah.
She does not live here.
Yeah, nah. Blanket
look
statement.
elsewhere. No. Yeah.
Get
A
out of
home
here.
invasion's 100%. Hell no. Tamara, you can get the fuck out of here.
Get out of my house, Tamara.
Tamara.
Stop telling your friends you live here because you don't.
Trying to have my bougie house. Living here.
I got a freaking, what is it called? Dishwasher.
Yeah.
Tamara.
Yeah, we
Get
got a
out.
nice luxurious basement, Tamara.
You gotta be short, but it's still here.
Tamara.
Tamara, how tall are you? 5'8"? Back up.
Guess what? You don't live here, Tamara.
Back off, Tamara.
Send your friends back where they came from. With
Yeah.
their creepy masks. What is this, the Purge?
It's not. That's the answer.
It's not, yeah.
It's not the purge.
Don't come in.
Get away.
No means no. The door's locked.
Doors are doors.
Don't be in my house unless I asked you to be there.
I just think you should just stop telling your friends you live here because you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the films.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're next.
Yeah. You're
Coming for
super
you.
next.
I'm coming for you.
Everyone's next.
Yeah.
Next.
I mean, honestly, the films have reinvigorated my desire to protect myself at all times.
Oh, wonderful.
I severely fear home invasion. And I feel like we should, like, prep more. I feel like now I understand why you're like, why didn't you lock the door, Kat? And
Yes.
I'm like, because my brain's broken. It's like, no, I'm going to lock the door every single time because clearly we could die.
This is how I
We could die.
instill fear in you.
We could die all the time.
Yeah. You're not safe anywhere.
No one.
Here's the thing. I don't remember what happened to the dog in them, but in the other ones, there weren't animals. And I would be super, super stressed because of our fur babies.
Yeah.
Were we to be attacked?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So
Why is that what you're doing?
I feel like being attacked at home should be like, it's the worst thing because then you're never going to feel safe again in your home.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
even if
of
you
course
survive,
not.
you're going to be like, this is
our never.
I remember that corner where the person was lurking.
Yeah. There's always a person there now.
And there's that closet
there's
where
no
I was
recovery.
hiding and I pissed myself because I couldn't leave for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, what?
So I think like home invasion is now just like you find a new one.
Yeah.
Like the
You
thing,
invade
it's
someone
theirs
else's
now.
home.
It's like they came in, it's theirs now. They win in that
Yeah.
sense. You move.
They
lose in
won.
that you murder them because they're in their
Yeah.
house.
But now you go somewhere else.
But now you gotta leave. Like your house is not.
That
your
should be
house
about.
anymore.
That should be a part of an insurance plan. It's like in the event that this house is invaded,
Yeah. And you survive.
you get a new house.
You just get a new one.
You get a different whole house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Protected.
Because it's like, honestly, if someone breaks into your house and like F's up your stuff, it's never going to be the same again. You're never going to feel safe again.
No.
Like, you can go to therapy all you want, Susan, but you're never going to feel safe again. It's just not.
Poor Susan. Yeah. It's definitely, I'm going to agree that it is your next for these films because they really hit on some good stuff. They have amazing cinematic, just like, things in them. They dwell on
filmed
suspense
beautifully.
and
were
with
so
like
smart.
minimal things happening, and
Yeah.
even like they weren't very gory because that wasn't the point. Stay safe in your home. Don't let anyone in there, and just stick together, James. And yeah,
I'd say the biggest thing is just like, don't open your door if someone knocks. That's something we didn't say, and I feel like really strongly about. If someone knocks on your door and it's not regular daytime hours, just don't answer.
and if it's not someone you know, also if it's a police officer, remember you need to see their badge,
Yeah, you need to see their badge, and if there's like
and they need a warrant.
someone who's like, I'm coming to like check out your gas or electricity,
incorrect.
you need to call the company and make sure that they're scheduled to be
Yes.
there and that they're a real person, because otherwise,
Yeah,
nah.
Don't let
Always
anyone
say
in your
nah
house.
to strangers.
Yeah, nah, strangers.
Nah, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, don't
This
get
house
married.
isn't yours, it's mine, Tamara.
Take a hint.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have to say it this many times. Internet.
Are you sure? I was like, yeah,
Yes.
yes, bitch. I am so sure.
I checked. She's not here.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot an entire person that exists. Are you kidding me? Are you sure in your darkness? Get
Yeah,
out
I just
of here.
forgot that I had a kid. Like, no, they're not here.
Talking about.
Nah.
Yeah. No.
Nah. Go away.
Okay.
Nah, strangers.
All right. Well, strangers.
Stranger. Stranger dinger.
Don't get married. Delete your kids.
Yeah, don't get married. So, thank you so much for listening to us, but also listen to our friends say words to your ears.
Yeah, believe it or not, we know some people who know some things, and they have some stuff to tell you. And here it is.
Yeah.
So enjoy. Thanks. Again, also, love you.
Okay, bye.
It's Breaking Mayberry, starring Martin Schneider and Little Danny Ludwig. Also featuring The Andy Griffith Show. Hi everybody, I'm Marty.
I'm Dan.
We're the hosts of Breaking Mayberry, a podcast dedicated to the show that TBS airs when the Atlanta Braves have a rain delay.
I know what you're thinking. Why should I care about the show that my grandparents fall asleep to? The answer? It's buck wild.
Topics discussed on this show include beauty contests,
Child abduction.
voter suppression,
The finer points of cutting hair.
the plays of Shakespeare,
Crazed shotgun-wielding hillbillies.
gun control. No, we're serious about that. Literal gun control.
Roving bands of gossiping old women.
All of this and more happens on The Andy Griffith Show and is talked about by us with special guests.
Do you want to hear these events described and then yelled about?
So listen to us on Breaking Mayberry. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.